Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going on a fascinating deep dive into a world you might think you already have completely pegged. I mean, when you picture ballroom dance, you're probably imagining flowing gowns, sharp tuxedos, and, trying desperately not to step on your partner's toes, right? But today we are looking at the hidden biomechanical and psychological engines that literally make all of that possible. We're going to uncover how the discipline of form on the dance floor translates into some truly unexpected real-world benefits for your everyday posture and your personal confidence. So get ready, because treating the human body like a finely tuned machine is absolutely captivating.
Okay, let's dive into this, because right off the bat, we need to completely subvert your expectations. The look of ballroom, well, it's elegant, highly social, and it seems completely effortless. But the reality? Oh man, behind that glamorous surface is a rigorous, sweaty training effect. We're talking about an intensive, highly repetitive practice of posture, balance, and coordination. It's way less about just looking pretty and much more about a structured physical discipline that dramatically alters how dancers hold themselves in everyday settings.
To see how this transformation actually happens, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start beyond the dance floor, move into stacking perfect posture, and then explore muscle memory in motion. After that, we'll pivot over to the confidence framework, and finally wrap up with everyday transformation. We are taking a very deliberate journey here, going straight from physical body mechanics directly into psychological resilience.
Section 1. Beyond the dance floor, the illusion of elegance. So what actually makes a dancer look so incredibly graceful? Well, the core technical demands of the stance are simply non-negotiable. Whether you are looking at fierce, highly competitive styles or just relaxed social dancing, they all require an upright stance, a continuously engaged core, and highly controlled placement of the shoulders and arms. And here's the kicker. These demands aren't just for aesthetics. They actively force dancers to move with true structural alignment. Think about it. In everyday life, when we lose our balance, our first instinct is to slump, hunch over, or lean our weight to catch ourselves. Ballroom totally strips that away. You literally cannot execute the movements if you are leaning to compensate. You have to move from a place of absolute centered stability.
Section 2. Stacking perfect posture. Building the architecture of stance.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we start treating the dancer's body like a precision machine. In practical terms, teachers guide their students through stacking the body from the ground up. Step 1. The head is precisely over the shoulders. Step 2. The shoulders are placed directly over the hips. And Step 3. The body's weight is distributed deliberately, meaning every single ounce of pressure on the floor is intentional. It's like building a flawless vertical column. You aren't just standing up straight, you are aligning your entire skeletal structure to carry your weight with maximum efficiency.
But of course, dancing actually means moving. Keeping that perfectly stacked column intact while you're flying across a room, that requires constant micro-adjustments. Driven entirely by core engagement, these are the constant, subtle corrections needed to execute a sharp turn, sustain a prolonged hold, or just return to a neutral stance between complex sequences. The body is operating as a single stabilized unit, making thousands of tiny corrections a minute, just to ensure that vertical stack never breaks.
Because ballroom demands this intense level of constant micro-adjustment, it acts as an incredible filter against bad habits. Usually under physical tension or when we're just trying to move fast, we compensate. We twist forcefully from the spine, or we hike our shoulders way up to our ears out of stress. But the rigorous physical stance of ballroom naturally eliminates those compensations. You literally cannot maintain the correct frame with your partner if your shoulders are lifted under tension or your spine is all contorted. The discipline forces the tension out of the wrong places and engages all the right ones.
Section 3. Muscle memory in motion. The repetition engine.
Posture becomes a habit through repetition. Now, trying to remember your head, shoulders, hips, and core all at the exact same time sounds incredibly awkward at first. And trust me, it is. But eventually, posture becomes a habit through repetition. It's a simple idea, but deeply powerful. Over weeks of lessons, dancers repeat these fundamental steps, standing tall, transferring weight smoothly, and holding a consistent frame. This repetition heavily trains muscle memory. The brain essentially stops having to actively think about standing up straight, and instead, good posture just feels automatic. It becomes your body's new default setting.
So the crucial point is that better posture isn't just about looking taller for the sake of aesthetics. It dictates exactly how well you move. Because the physical alignment is so stable with that engaged core, the dancer experiences significantly smoother transitions and far fewer jerky corrections. This highly efficient movement makes the dance feel vastly more natural to perform. It honestly takes the panic right out of the motion.
Section 4. The Confidence Framework. The Psychology of the Floor.
When you take that panic out of the physical motion, something amazing happens to the mind. Abstract confidence is actually built structurally on 3 very concrete, measurable pillars. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks them down: trackable progress, partner-based feedback, and safe frameworks for performance. When a new step becomes easier or a turn gets smoother, that sense of advancement translates directly into self-efficacy.
Let's look a little closer at that second pillar, working with a partner. Ballroom is fundamentally interactive, right? You rely on another person for timing, shared balance, and those essential lead and follow cues. When you receive clear feedback from a partner, a teacher, or even a video review, it provides vital reassurance. It proves to you that your physical form is not fixed. It is entirely within your control to adjust and master. Knowing that your partner can physically feel you becoming more balanced and centered, that is a massive confidence booster.
And then there is that third pillar, finding a safe framework to perform. Even for purely social dancers, communities frequently host showcases, informal events, and practice parties. This provides regular, low-stakes exposure to being seen by others. When you pair this regular exposure with physical skills that are becoming more and more reliable thanks to that muscle memory, the result is a drastic reduction in social anxiety. You become significantly more comfortable in public spaces because you intrinsically trust your body's ability to hold its space.
Section 5. Everyday Transformation. Off the dance floor. Let's move to and see how this builds into real-world application.
For many beginners, the transformation doesn't start with some spectacular performance. It starts with first wins. We're talking about things like learning to stand with properly placed weight, keeping your breathing steady under pressure, and maintaining a consistent upper body position. As these seemingly small, concrete, physical changes compound, they trigger massive boosts in everyday posture and presentation. The discipline of form you practice for 45 minutes on the dance floor suddenly means you sit taller at your desk, you walk into a meeting with a much more commanding presence, and you navigate crowded rooms with total physical assurance. Which leaves us with a really compelling question to end our explainer today. We've seen exactly how the hidden mechanics of stacking, core engagement, and trackable repetition can fundamentally alter not just a dancer's frame, but their entire self-belief. The discipline of form is a practical training ground. So, knowing what you know now about how posture dictates both movement and mindset, how will you apply this discipline of form to your everyday presentation? How are you going to use these hidden mechanics to walk taller in your own life? Thank you so much for exploring this with me, and keep paying attention to the mechanics of the world around you.